Not that I'm eating these for my health, but. Hey guys, it's Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another mukbang. As you guys can see, we've got some burgers in front of me. Yes, plural, I know. And we also have some French fries. I'm very excited. So I actually decided to order from Harvey's. Have you guys heard of Harvey's? I think it's a Canadian chain. Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, I see some maple leaves on here, so I'm assuming it is very much Canadian. So I got 2 burgers because I didn't know which one to get, okay? Couldn't decide, so thought I might as well. We also have a little drink here. I got iced tea. I really wanted Diet Coke, but they only had Diet Pepsi, and apparently Diet Pepsi is not vegan. I don't understand. Ugh, it's annoying. Anyways, they didn't have Diet Coke, so instead I got iced tea. Oh, it's so sweet. Okay, I'm just gonna put this one here. Hello. Here we go. All right, let's open these babies up. So one of them is a Light Life burger, which is like, I think a pretty popular, what do you call it? Whoa, why is there so much onion action? I'm just gonna like sprinkle the onion action. So yeah, Light Life is like one of those new brands with a lot of like mock meats and stuff. Kind of like Beyond, I think. But Light Life might be a Canadian brand. I could be wrong once again. But yeah. Ooh, I think this one is the Light Life burger. Ooh la la. I thought I added onion rings onto this. I guess I didn't. It, guys. This one, I should have gotten multigrain. I guess I didn't. I fail, guys, I fail, but whatever. It's okay, we've got a variety here. So I believe this one is their signature veggie burger, which is vegan, yes. And then I'm pretty sure this one is the Light Life because I've had the Light Life burger before. So there you go. Yum! All right, you guys, I'm starving, so we are going to dig in. I'm just gonna cut it in half. You know what, this is getting soggy, so I'm gonna go with the Light Life first. There we go. Okay, so this is what the inside looks like. That's the Light Life burger, my friends. Let's just try a bite. So Harvey's, you get to like customize everything that you can put in your burger. I think if you go into the actual restaurant, they have it kind of like Subway, I think. I literally haven't been to Harvey's in like probably over a decade, so I wouldn't actually know. Delicious. Very good. They gave me ketchup packets, these individual ones, but I like to save these for like, I don't know, if I go on a picnic or something. This, since I already have it, I might as well use it. So, fries. I was gonna get some onion rings in one of the burgers, but I think I forgot. Guys, we're gonna have to take a few bites before I start chatting with y'all because I'm starving. That's actually really good. Somebody told me that the Light Life burgers are healthier than Beyond. I don't know, is that true? I mean, not that I'm eating these for my health, but let's just give you a nice visual here. Ah, guys, how have you guys been doing? 2020, what a crazy year. When was the last time I filmed mukbang? It's been a minute. A lot has happened in a minute. For my friends in the States, how are you guys doing? Tell me everything. I mean, I'm seeing it in the news. I don't know if the riots have calmed down. I'm seeing it in the news, and it looks pretty insane over there. At least it looked. And just everything. I feel like everything that's happening right now, it is heartbreaking, but also hopefully we can see some really big changes. I mean, we'll see. Okay. Anyway, this one is the Veggie Burger. So this one is their signature Veggie Burger. Okay. I need to try and describe these flavors. This one just tastes like a very classic, old school veggie burger. I don't know how to describe it. It's good. It just tastes like a veggie burger. There's not a very strong taste. It's just mild, but it's good. I like it. I'm down for that. But I think this one's better. But I think I like Beyond Burger better. This one has a more mild taste. So the Light Life burgers, you can actually buy them kind of like the Beyond Burger in the grocery store now. And I feel like this one has more of a mild taste compared to the Beyond Burger. The Beyond Burger has like a very strong, kind of very obvious taste. It's very charred, and I think it's quite meaty. This one is slightly more subtle, I think. The only thing putting me off is this like color. I feel like it's a little too light, you know? It looks like it's like raw meat or something. Anyway. Whew. Guys. I don't even know what to talk about. I feel like there's so much that's been happening. Obviously, the protests, pretty insane. Me and Daniel, we discussed it in a podcast, which I think is coming out to the public tomorrow, where we kind of like talk about our thoughts on all of this and the whole issue of systemic racism. And I also filmed a video about systemic racism, or like what I learned about systemic racism. I just feel like it's important to discuss these things because there are voices trying to tell you the opposite, tell you that systemic racism doesn't exist, even though there's so much evidence to point to the conclusion that it does. Feels weird talking about this in a mukbang, but over the past few weeks, anytime I've been having like a meal with like my family or something, now they've lifted like most of the restrictions. I think like pretty much all of them. So they do allow you, or not allow, they are recommending that you can still like, you know, eat with your friends and stuff like that in your family. So I finally got to go to my parents' house. Last week, got to go to my parents' house for the first time in like months. Like I haven't been to their house in so long. So that was really nice. We had our staff from the cafe over. We talked for hours. And a lot of what we discussed was like, you know, what's going on in the current situation. World news, you know, and the topic of systemic racism is back in the news, thankfully so. We should be talking about it. So that's why it's on my mind. So I hope I'm not being like insensitive by talking about it in a mukbang, but I mean, it's just, this is just like, you know, regular chatter. I have a more serious video coming out shortly. Guys, jalapenos on the burgers, guys. You gotta get the jalapenos on the burgers. Why don't other fast food places offer jalapenos on the burgers? Why? So anyways, yeah, been talking about a lot of that stuff in my personal life, watching a lot of like documentaries and movies, learning so much, because I didn't realize, I knew that systemic racism was a thing. I knew that there were issues with police brutality. I knew that Black people were more likely to be targeted, but I definitely did not know how interconnected a lot of this is and how much of a problem this is in terms of people being incarcerated and just so many lives being ruined. So it's been quite eye-opening for me. I talked about this before. Oh, well, maybe not in a video, actually. There's a movie I keep talking about because it needs to be watched by everybody. It's called 13th. It's a documentary. It's on Netflix. It's also on YouTube for free. I'm gonna link it below. Please go watch it. It's all about, you know, this whole topic. And it really tells you just how many problems there are within the American like justice system, and basically just systemic racism within America, and kind of tells you the history of all of that and how it all connects to today. And it's absolutely just mind-blowing, and it's kind of depressing to watch, but also like it's important to watch so that we can, you know, have discussions on how to make things better, just not just in the States but everywhere. I hope you guys are staying safe. Just seeing the footage from the protests, I'm just like, wow. It actually looks like a war zone, you know? So, to get out there and be protesting takes a lot of courage. So I watched 13th, and then most recently I watched the Kalief Browder story, another show on Netflix. It's a docu-series on Netflix. Yum! All right, let's get in this. That's another thing that you should watch. I watched it with my roommate, and it was so... First, I was really mad, okay? Well, I was sad and mad. Mostly mad in the beginning because of what happened to this boy. If you guys don't know the story, there was a boy, a 16-year-old boy named Kalief Browder. He lived in the Bronx in New York, which is, if you guys don't know, that's where a lot of African Americans live. It's it's a very poor part of New York, and even maybe all of the States. I even remember, like, when I went to New York, everyone told me to, like, not go to the Bronx because, like, you know, it's supposed to be shady. Like, I don't know, okay? But that's what people told me. But he was just a regular kid, and he was just walking home one day from a party, and then he got falsely accused of stealing a backpack. Not even on that day. It was like a different day. So it happened apparently before on a different day. And then I guess the victim that got his backpack stolen, he pointed this boy out and said that it was him that stole his backpack. And then he got arrested. So Kalief got arrested. So he got arrested. And, you know, this is literally allegedly stealing a backpack. Like, it's not, you know, some kind of like rape accusation. It's not like selling drugs. It's literally stealing a backpack, which, I mean, fair enough, it is still a crime, but it's petty theft. Let's be honest, okay? Petty theft with no evidence, like no proof. It's not like he got caught on the spot. It was just one person's word. Anyway, so he got arrested, and then this poor guy ended up spending 3 years in jail, okay? Waiting for his sentence. So he wasn't sentenced, but he spent 3 years in jail waiting for his sentence. Turns out, of course, he didn't do it. He was falsely accused. They didn't have any evidence on him, so they had to let him go at some point. It just took them 3 years to do it, apparently. And I was just shocked. The whole thing was just shocking, and it was also just disgusting. And I feel like anything that could have gone wrong to this poor boy went wrong, you know? The whole time, he was just maintaining his innocence. He just kept saying, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. And he actually went to Rikers prison, which apparently is known for being incredibly violent and just having a lot of issues. I mean, it's messed up enough that a 16-year-old boy is being taken to jail for stealing a backpack allegedly, but to take him to Rikers prison, which is apparently a very, you know, violent prison, that would mess anybody up, you know? So this poor 16-year-old boy went to Rikers, awaiting his trial because his family couldn't make bail. So that's another messed up thing, you know? If you can't make bail, you literally sit in prison because you can't make bail. You don't have money. So you are punishing people for the crime of being poor. That's literally what it is, essentially, because if you had money, no matter how bad your crime or whatever you're being accused of, you could just pay your bail and then just walk free until your trial. But if you're poor, you know, if you don't have money, you don't have money. And then you just can't get out. Your family doesn't have money, you can't get out. So even if you're innocent, you could be sitting in jail for years, apparently. So basically, his family couldn't make bail. He was in prison. And I mean, you have to watch the whole thing to get the whole story. Please, please, please watch it. I feel like the thing is, this poor guy went through so much. Like, he literally went through hell and back. And I feel like he was super brave because they kept offering him plea deal after plea deal. So another thing that is really sad that I learned recently, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but you know what? You guys are like, you know, we're chatting, we're talking about politics. This is what I do when I chat with people. It's not even politics. This is not even politics. This is just, you know, a human to human thing, you know? It's just human decency. It's not politics. So, this poor boy went to prison, and he went to prison, and he was sitting in prison for 3 years awaiting his trial. They kept delaying his trial and delaying his trial. I can't remember why, because they don't have enough people, or they just kept making all these excuses to delay his trial, even though the prosecution did not have a case against him because they didn't have any evidence. But they just, you know, played games with this boy's life. Like, literally, that's what happened. They kept offering him a plea deal. And I did not know this, but apparently most cases do not actually go to trial. So we we assume that every case sees some kind of trial, but actually most cases, I think they said like 90-something% of cases don't go to trial, which means they take a plea deal. People take a plea deal. They're heavily pushed to take a plea deal. If they don't take a plea deal, they're threatened with a much higher sentence, which is kind of ridiculous. But a lot of people don't want to take that chance. They don't want to gamble. So they just take a plea deal instead and plead guilty to something, whether or not they did it. That is so messed up. And then what happens is that now they have a criminal record, which means they cannot vote, probably have a hard time finding a job. You know, they basically become like second-class citizens. So that is so messed up. And that's literally because you're poor, essentially. Because if you weren't poor, the threat of being in jail would not exist at that time, at least while you're awaiting trial. Because you're not in jail because you paid your bail. So if you are rich, you can just pay bail and then just go to the trial. And some people still might take a plea deal just to get a lower sentence or whatever. But if you're innocent, then you're less likely to take a plea deal or whatever it is, you know? So am I making sense? If you're poor, you're basically punished over and over again. And that's messed up. So he went to jail, was innocent, okay? But he was still sitting in jail because he couldn't afford to pay his way out because he did not have money. And that is the case for a lot of people in these jails. So whether or not they are guilty, they're gonna be sitting there if they don't have the money to get out. So I could literally be falsely accused of a crime and then I could be put into jail. And if I don't have money to get out, then I'm just gonna be rotting in jail until my trial. And my trial, I don't know when that's gonna happen. So this poor guy, he was obviously in jail and then he was obviously, you know, distraught, upset, angry, just like everyone would be in that situation. You know, if you're innocent and you're sitting in jail because somebody accused you of a crime that you did not commit, you feel upset and you feel angry, especially when you're 16. Imagine your hormones and everything. You're 16 years old, you're upset. You're already probably quite angry because you're 16. So he started getting into fights and getting beat up and all this kind of stuff. And then they put him in solitary confinement for 2 years. Oh my God, I get so mad. I think over 2 years, actually, a total. Yeah. I wasn't planning on talking about something so dark, but it's like ingrained in my mind. So this kid that is 16 is being sent to solitary confinement. What I want to know is, what do you hope to achieve from sending someone to solitary confinement? What is the desired result? You just want to punish someone. That's essentially what it is. Because solitary confinement is torture. It's literally torture. And they've proven it time and time again. It is actual torture. So you just want to torture somebody, you know? If you send someone to solitary confinement, that's the only thing that you're going to get out of it. You're not going to get someone that's rehabilitated, because it's literally going to mess you up more. Even if you went in there completely normal and sane and absolutely fantastic, it would still mess you up completely. So what is the objective? What is the purpose? The purpose of jails and prisons should not be just to punish somebody. Okay? At least, I mean, that's the way I see it. You know? Especially for those with low-level crimes. And especially if you expect them to leave jail one day. You know, you expect these people to leave jail, you know, putting them in solitary confinement, you know, treating them like crap and, you know, living in these awful conditions. And then they're gonna go back to society and what, be a productive member of society, you think? You think they're gonna be normal? You think they're gonna be healthy in the head? You think they're gonna be able to work normal jobs? When they have a criminal record, they have all these like health problems and these mental problems from staying in some kind of crappy prison? And that is the danger here. It is disgusting. It really is. So it's like a vicious cycle. You put people into jail for potentially minor crimes, if any crime. If they're accused of a crime, you're gonna be put into jail. And Black people are much more likely to be arrested, falsely accused. They're more likely to be arrested. They're more likely to be arrested and charged, especially with things like minor drug offenses. They're already, you know, living in poverty compared to white America, just generally speaking, not everybody, obviously. So then they probably can't afford bail. So then they sit in prison until they wait their trial. And while they wait for their trial, that's when things get probably messed up, okay? They go into fights, maybe they get into solitary confinement, and they just get messed up. And then maybe they go to trial, maybe they take a plea deal. Most likely they're taking a plea deal. And then what? We don't know if they're guilty or not guilty. Whether or not, it doesn't matter. They're gonna be criminals now. Because Khalif could have pled guilty. He actually, you know, thought about it, of course, because if he pled guilty at that moment, he could have left jail. So it was incredibly tempting for him to just plead guilty and leave. But then he would have a criminal record. And that means, you know, you basically become a second-class citizen for the rest of your life, apparently. So, I mean, it's just so sad. So what I'm saying is, when people say systemic racism does not exist, it's just complete nonsense. Like, you are deluded. Like, I'm sorry, but it is delusion, okay? Basically, to say that systemic racism does not exist is to just ignore facts, okay? Because factually speaking, basically America grew economically, became an economic powerhouse thanks to slavery. Black people were brought into America to be slaves. And then they were treated as second-class citizens for a very, very long time. And now we're kind of pretending like everyone is equal. But those old ways have trickled, and they're still here. The damaging effects of slavery are still here to this day. And that's what's messed up. So, basically, I mean, think about it. So many black kids just get arrested, left, right, and center, for doing that white kids do probably all the time. I guess they're lucky if they just get arrested rather than killed. Anyways, sorry guys, I know you probably weren't looking for a a racist speech today, but here we are, or anti-racist speech, I should say. Honestly, guys, I could probably eat this all, but I'm gonna stop right here. I am gonna finish this later. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I do not waste food, my friends. I do not waste food. So yeah, that was my video, you guys. I'm sorry I didn't talk about anything more like cheery. I don't know, like nothing else really is on my mind at this moment when it comes to talking about certain topics. This is the only thing that's really on my mind. So I highly recommend watching the Khalif Browder story on Netflix. It is incredibly disturbing. It is incredibly sad. The last 2 episodes, I cried so much. I don't remember the last time I cried that much in a documentary. I know I have. So brace yourselves for, you know, the waterworks. But I do think it's really important for people to watch it because like I said, he suffered so much and he fought so hard. His story is just very tragic, but I think the least we can do is listen to what happened to him and share his story and get it out there. And he's not even a unique case. He's just a case where a lot of things happen to him. All of the bad things that could potentially happen within the system happened to him. The system failed him in every single possible way, but this is not that unique of a case. And a lot of people say his case is only unique because he didn't plead guilty. Like, he didn't take a plea deal. That's why his case became unique. He said that if he pled guilty, if he just took a plea deal, he could have got out of prison, but no one would hear his story. And that's what's heartbreaking, because a lot of people, because most people would not be strong enough to stay in prison. I don't think I could be strong enough, not even half that strong, to stay in prison and endure that much suffering. in solitary confinement, of all places. Yeah, the only reason why we're hearing his story is because he didn't plead guilty. But if he pled guilty, we probably wouldn't hear his story, which is the case for a lot of people. So a lot of people are silently suffering, and I think all we can do is educate ourselves on what's happening, educate ourselves on, you know, these issues that have happened to different people, and not just these individual cases, but why these things exist, why these cases keep happening, and also just keep talking and having a bit of sympathy and empathy. So yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it. These burgers were delicious. If you are in, oh yeah, it is Canadian. See, it says proudly Canadian since 1959. Fièrement canadienne depuis 1959. Oh my God, guys, my French. Alright, you guys, so that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.